I'd like to begin by thanking all of the panelists who are here today, to Alea and the men and women in the room who have been personally touched by gun violence. I thank you for your bravery. By bearing witness to senseless acts of violence, you are helping to make our world a safer place. Thank you. The failure of Congress to pass universal background check legislation has eroded our sense of safety on our streets, in our schools, and even in our places of worship. Because background checks are not required for sales by unlicensed gun dealers, guns end up in the hands of dangerous people who are barred by law from owning a gun. In 2018, on the online site armslist.com, there were 97 online posts by unlicensed firearms dealers from Gwinnett County, Georgia, which is part of my district. They were advertising guns for sale. That represents potentially at least 97 guns being sold to 97 violent criminals or certified mentally ill individuals, those guns ending up in other locations throughout the country. Mr. Chairman, we can do better than this, or Madam Chair, we can do better than this. I want to thank you for making, I want to thank Chairman Nadler for making gun violence a subject of his very first committee meeting as chair, thus sending the message to the people of America that we are serious about common sense gun reform. Now I'm going to yield the balance of my time to a woman who has been personally aggrieved by the destructive effects of the gun violence epidemic that plagues America. I yield the balance of my time to my friend and colleague and original co-sponsor of H.R. 8, Congresswoman Lucy McBath, but I do want to recognize the efforts of the sponsor of H.R. 8, Mike Thompson, who sat through this hearing. Thank you for being here. And also Congresswoman Robin Kelly, who's a co-sponsor, original co-sponsor on H.R. 8. Thank you both for being here. Congresswoman McBath, I yield my time to you.
Thank you so much, Congressman Johnson and Chairman Nadler, and to all the witnesses that are here today. As many of you know, gun violence is an issue that is deeply personal for me. In 2012, my son Jordan Davis was shot and killed by a man who opened fire on a car of unarmed teenagers at a gas station in Jacksonville, Florida. And Jordan was only 17 years old. Jordan would be turning 24 this week, February 16th. After my son's death, I dedicated my life to advocating for common sense gun safety solutions, but it was the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, that year that finally motivated me to run for Congress. Yesterday, I brought Jeff and Margaret Binkley to the State of the Union as my guests. Just 3 months ago, the Binkleys experienced a tragedy that no parent should ever have to endure. Their daughter, Mara Binkley, was killed when a man entered a yoga studio in Tallahassee, Florida, and shot